Indeed, I just held a one-on-one interview with former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, and I asked him to comment on some of the issues that have been making headlines of late. Welcome, Mheshimiwa, and welcome back once again to Atlanta.
Thank you, BMJ. I'm happy to be back in Atlanta.
Yes.
Once again.
Yes, and I know the last time I actually interviewed you, it was a time when Kenya had been hit by terrorists. There were bombings at the coast and then in Nairobi. And now that you are back, we are again talking about over 10 people having died in blasts in Nairobi. What would be your take on this, Mheshimiwa?
Well, as we spoke last time, I did say that violence will always get violence. And first, I started by commiserating with those whose relatives had died or who had been injured. I want to do the same again today. I want to send my message of condolence to Kenyans who lost their relatives. This attack in Gikomba market and those who have died recently. I have been, of course, very passionate, warning the government not to be overhanded in dealing with this issue. Like I did not quite approve the manner in which the Isili situation was handled.
Yes. By
arresting and herding people into a stadium for screening purposes.
Yes.
I say that will not solve this issue. There will always be counter attacks here and there.
Yes.
I think it is really time that we revisited our engagement in Somalia, not outright withdrawal.
Yes.
Because my view is we should not appear to be surrendering.
Yes.
But we need to do some strategical rethinking so that we can be able to deal with both external as well as internal security threats, which are now becoming very, very serious indeed.
Yes, there's one issue that I must, talk about upfront, and because to me, it's a serious matter. Your brother, Dr. Oburu Odinga, says that he has intelligence, credible intelligence, that somebody wants you dead. Why would this be?
Now, I have not had an opportunity to talk at length with my brother. He only mentioned that he had credible information.
Yes.
And I advise that if he had credible information, he should actually give that information to the authorities so that they can thoroughly investigate this matter in order to establish the truth or falsehood of this information.
Yes.
I'm told that I volunteered to go to the CID headquarters to make a statement. I was told that the CID referred him back to Bondo. In my view, is very strange indeed.
Yes.
Because information is information, it doesn't matter where you give it. The police require information so that they can carry out the investigation as quickly as possible. It is therefore, in my view, very responsible for police officers, like a citizen of caliber member of parliament, goes to voluntarily give information, and the police refuses to record this kind of statement. In my view, they are treating that matter very trivially. Maybe they know the reasons why.
I'm sure when you hear things like this, Mheshimiwa, these are weighty matters when somebody talks about wanting you assassinated, if it is true. Now, what would go through your mind when something like this is said?
All of us will die one day.
Yes.
Like Shakespeare said in Julius Caesar.
Right.
Caesar who said that death is an unnecessary evil. It will come when it will come.
Yes.
But cowards die many times before their death. But I'm saying that I basically stand for what I think is right for our country. And I have stood for the right right through.
Yes.
And we want to see a united, prosperous Kenya. And like Mandela said, it's an ideal which I would like to live to see realized. But if I must pay some price, the ultimate, so be it.
So be it.
Yeah.
And that brings me to another point which I consider very important. I've always wondered, and I know you might have spoken about this elsewhere, but I would like to know your position on the East African community, the cooperation between Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, and the rest that are being asked to join in. What exactly is your position on this? Because it is there has been controversy over who believes in what, and especially about Tanzania, developing cold feet. I would like to know, as a leader of your caliber, what is your position on the East African community?
Well, as you know, I am a Pan-Africanist.
Yes.
And I also believe in East African community, not just community, but federation.
Right.
Shirikisho ya Afrika Mashariki. That is what Mwalimu Nyerere and the other founding fathers of our region, like Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, had wanted. And Mwalimu Nyerere, as you know, was prepared to delay Tanzania's or Tanganyika's independence until Kenya and Uganda achieved independence together to federate.
Right.
Unfortunately, that was not to be.
Right. Because
of vested interests of people who basically are short-sighted.
Yeah.
People who don't see far.
Right.
The first community attempt at unity, the community founded on the rock of nationalism in 1977.
Yes.
And we know the cost of separation.
Right.
Because immediately that happened, Tanzania closed the border with us.
Yes.
Those of us who are around here, we know the consequences. To go to Dar es Salaam,
yeah.
I remember one time I had to fly to Lusaka, then to Dar es Salaam, or you had to go to Addis Ababa, then kind of fly to go to Dar es Salaam. Trade was not possible. People living along the border suffered greatly, but also the business general.
Right.
As you know that Tanzania is a big market for Kenyan products. Right now, we are talking about expanding our industries.
Yes.
We're talking about Vision 2030. That will come to naught if we don't open up this market.
So in a sense, you are actually together with the Jubilee government on this.
They know what we stand for. The Jubilee government
yes.
have actually sworn to uphold Vision 2030, which we started.
Right.
And that is what they're trying to implement. That cannot work without a bigger union.
Right.
Because you require the market for goods which are being manufactured in Kenya.
Yes, because there have been, Mheshimiwa, there have been concerns, some people saying that getting together, that Kenya in particular needs to be careful in getting into this marriage. And you know what happened with Tanzania and probably why they developed cold feet in some areas. Do you share some of these concerns?
Yes and no.
Yes.
You see, there are areas where there are national concerns.
Yes.
Like Tanzanians are worried about land issues.
Right.
That the Kenyan middle class might move in and grab land.
Yes.
Because as you know, they say that land grabiosis is a cancer afflicting Kenya. I think they require assurances.
Yes.
That no, Kenyans are not interested in Tanzania's land.
Yeah.
Kenyans are interested in Tanzania as a market.
Right.
But this is going to be mutually beneficial.
Right.
Tanzania is going to benefit as much as Kenya is going to benefit.
Right.
Like statistics over the last 3 years show that the increase in terms of trade between Kenya and Tanzania has actually favored Tanzania more than Kenya.
Okay.
The Tanzanians' export to Kenyan market has expanded faster than Kenya's export to Tanzanian market.
So that brings me to that other point of yes.
There has been this talk of collision of the willing.
Yes.
Between Kenya, Uganda, and Rwanda. I say that is very misplaced. That is very misplaced to say that we should never contemplate a union to the exclusion of Tanzania.
Yes.
Let us work together. Let us try to accommodate each other as we move forward. I'm sure that Tanzania, given assurances, Tanzania is willing to come on board, not tomorrow, even today.
Okay. There have been media reports, maybe it's good that you can clear the air now, that there's been bad blood between you and President Museveni and President Kagame. And as you answer that question, do you think it's okay for the railway, the standard gauge railway line to go through?
Because I have enjoyed a good relationship. As you know that President Museveni invites me every now and then. I mean, this year he's invited me to go and visit him.
Okay.
And I've gone and we've had a long chat with him at State House.
So you are buddies?
Yes.
Okay.
We are at Entebbe.
Yes.
Likewise with Kagame.
All right.
We have had lengthy discussions with President Kagame on a number of issues. There are some issues which I now want to really discuss more intimately with both of them.
Okay.
But I've also discussed this issue of East African cooperation and integration with the two of them.
Okay.
Now, I am very happy that at least now this standard gauge railway line is becoming a reality.
Okay.
Because as you know, it was our brainchild in the Grand Coalition government.
All right.
And I was chairing the committee that was negotiating jointly with Uganda on this, me and the Ugandan Prime Minister. We had a joint committee and we had moved far, but the process was so slow.
Yes.
That's why we said let us first go as Kenya, deal with the portion that is within our territory as a Kenyan project.
Yes.
Then handle it from there as an East African project. Now, the signing recently, the presence of the Chinese premier, with the president of South Sudan, Uganda, and Rwanda, was very instructive and very positive indeed. But I'm hoping that likewise, we will approach the Lamu Port project in a similar fashion and develop that also as a regional project.
Okay, let's go back to Kenya. Very pertinent issues, matters that have been raised in the last week or so. Issues to do with Anglo leasing payments. You know the story. President Uhuru Kenyatta okays the payments, and there's people who are not really happy about this. I want to get your take on this, Mheshimiwa, because obviously what you say matters a lot in Kenya.
Anglo leasing was a very unfortunate occurrence, as you know.
Yes.
It occurred in the Kibaki one government when we were in the process discussing the issues of corruption.
Yes.
And a committee, a cabinet committee, chaired by Mr. Muriithi, John Gidongo as our secretary. Then as this was going on, then we didn't know that under our feet, Anglo leasing was actually thriving.
Yes.
But it started in the Nyayo era.
Yes.
It did not start in Kibaki.
There are those saying that it's actually the problem is the Anglo leasing type of payments. And President Kenyatta, I watched his speech the other day, was actually saying that this is an issue that if the payments are not made, then Kenya is going to lose because he has to obey some international obligations. Do you think, actually my question to you is, do you think it's right to make these payments?
You see, we did examine some of those leasing payments.
Yes.
We did actually due diligence on some of those projects, because not all the Anglo leasing projects were fake or phantom.
Right.
the areas where there are actual deliveries which are done.
Yeah.
Like for example with the naval ship which was being manufactured in Spain. A parliamentary committee went to Spain and inspected the ship. The ship was actually delivered to the Kenya Navy.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody can go and see that ship in Mombasa. Now, someone will be mad to refuse to pay for a ship
That was delivered.
and is being used by the Kenya Navy.
Right.
Likewise, there is this surveillance equipment
Yeah.
meant for surveilling the border,
Yeah.
which has been installed somewhere in Karen. And when you go there, you can be able to see the border from the screen there. Now, that is value for money. So if somebody pays
Yes.
payment for those,
Yes.
it is value for money. See, if it was for those two projects I've talked about,
Yeah.
I would say yes, that should be paid.
It should be paid.
But if it is
In
for-
essence, you're saying we should pay for services that have been received.
Yes.
It's common sense.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. And in my view,
Yes.
that is the responsibility of the executive, not parliament.
Okay.
So it was wrong
Yes.
for it was wrong for the government to ask parliament to authorize payment.
Okay.
Parliament, as an oversight, does not get involved in executive functions.
Yes.
The only other organ
Mhm.
which would have vetted this is the Controller and Auditor General. You see, in its function of control,
Yes.
it can actually sanction or refuse to sanction certain payments.
Yes.
And it has to be an independent body. But Parliament will come and say the executive
Yeah.
was given so much money, they're supposed to use it. Did they use it properly? So that is the oversight function of Parliament, but not for Parliament to vet payment before they're made and approve them.
Yes.
That was wrong. In my view, if the government conscience is clear that they're making a payment which is due, if the country is getting value for money, that is another business. I would not have a call about that.
Right.
But I don't want to say yes or no to this payment because I don't know what kind of Anglo leasing projects they relate to.
Okay, then very well. Let's move on. I think we're about to wind up actually, but let's move on to something else that is of national concern. President Uhuru Kenyatta gives mandate to, or gives power to the people, the county commissioners, and tells them that they should go and represent him at the county level. First of all, what is the position of ODM on this issue, or the CORD coalition, and probably even your personal take?
The Constitution has created two levels of government, the national and the county. And it says that those two levels of government are distinct and must cooperate with each other. What does that mean? It means that there are certain functions which are left entirely to the as responsibilities of the national government. The other functions which have been devolved and are now the responsibilities of the county government. Like you see, the county government is in charge of agriculture, of rural county roads, of energy, of water, of irrigation, health, and so on.
Yes.
The national government, on the other hand, has only got the responsibilities on security and education. Those are the two functions which have not been devolved.
Right.
Or remain the function of the national government. General administration within the counties is the responsibility of the county government.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So when the national government says that they have given more powers, you ask yourself, which more powers do they have? And where do they get those powers from?
Yes.
You see, there's section 175 that's under Article 7 of the Constitution. It is very clear about the separation of powers. And there is Section 132, which cannot be looked at in isolation from the other section of the Constitution.
Right.
And then there is the National Government Coordination Act, which in my view actually violates parts of the Constitution. Okay? I think this is what the government is trying to rely on. And then the transitional chapter of the Constitution says that within 5 years from the coming into operation of the new Constitution, the system known as the provincial administration shall be restructured to conform to the devolved system of government.
Restructured and not renamed.
Restructured, not renamed.
Okay.
What they're trying to do now is to rename it
Yeah.
and to give it more functions.
Yeah.
Restructured meant that it was supposed to fit, go under the county government.
So in your opinion, the way things are right now is good enough because some opponents of this whole idea are saying that it's going to be another burden to the taxpayers, yet it looks like some jobs are being created purposely for people to be having a job. But there are others who argue, the proponents, that the president needs people to represent him at the county level. But you have mentioned, you have articulated very well in which areas he needs representation. So generally, your opinion is that the central government the executive, it should stay in Nairobi, if I'm getting you right.
It should cooperate with the county government. In other words, the county government is the representative of the national government in the county.
Yes.
The other functions which are not devolved have got officers in the counties. Like you've got a county education officer, district education officer.
Yes.
And those ones are divisional education officer. Those ones actually report directly to the Ministry of Education. Here you've got a minister and a permanent secretary. So that's the direct, not office of the president.
Okay.
Then you've got the security. You've got the county security officer.
Yes.
And then below the district and division and so on. Those ones again, there's a clear line of a chain of command.
Right.
They report to the commissioner, inspector general of police.
Okay.
Who is under the minister in charge of internal security. So I don't see again how the president is giving them more powers.
Yeah.
Those powers he doesn't have. The other ones are supposed to be under the governor. And the governor must cooperate, even if that governor is an ODM governor.
Yes.
Or even if it's a wiper or an Amani government is there. He is actually mandated by the Constitution to cooperate and work with the president who is elected by the people of Kenya. So there's no fear about the presidential powers being diluted because he does not have his own people. The people who are elected there are his people.
Yes.
The governors are his people, and he must work with those people who are elected, not the ones he's appointing.
Yes.
Like a governor used to do in the colonial days. Those days are gone.
Okay, finally, see it's even raining here, but if we can push through this as we finish, what is your take? The ouster of Governor Evans Kidero. You support it? I know it's an issue that is in court. Maybe you cannot talk very much about it, but...
No, Evans Kidero is a governor of ODM and called in Nairobi.
Yes.
Elected popularly by the people of Nairobi.
Yes.
And of course, the matter had already been closed and settled. We are, of course, very disturbed by the rulings of the Court of Appeal.
Yes.
We see it as a very bad judgment.
And precedent.
And facing a very terrible president in the country.
Yes.
But as I said, we still have a long way to go until our judiciary is properly reformed. we will deal with this legally,
Yes.
constitutionally, through the legal channel. The matter is now before the Supreme Court,
Yes.
and I don't want to preempt the issue.
The issue. And very finally, your tour here in the US is almost coming to an end. What is your takeaway from this?
No, BJ, it has been very fruitful. It has been also an eye-opener for me. It has afforded me a unique opportunity to understand this country better and closer. I've made very many friends here in the US. I have learned a lot about how this system works. I have read a lot. I've also been taught a lot in the sessions that I've attended.
Yes.
I also hope that I have been an effective ambassador for Kenya and for Africa, here wherever I have given lectures. Germany,
Yes.
as last time I was here in Atlanta at Morehouse College. I've been to Elizabeth City State University. I spoke. I was in Princeton University. I was in University of Columbia. I was in Harvard University. I was in the University of Massachusetts, Boston. And then, of course, University of Boston, where I'm based itself.
Yes.
I've also taught several other smaller colleges
Right.
here in the U.S. And I have basically told them that Africa is on the rise.
Yes.
There are setbacks here and there, but on a scale of 1 to 10,
Yeah.
I would say that a number of African countries are now doing 6, which is positive, and that this must be sustained, that the poor performers need to be pulled up by the very good performers.
Yes.
But I say that Africa is prepared to claim this 21st century as the African century.
Very finally, my viewers will not be happy if I do not ask you this question. It's been asked before, and just for the record, are you running in 2017?
No, BJ, I've said that so many times. I said that is an issue which is not in my mind.
Not yet.
At all,
Yes.
at all. At the moment, I am very happy with the role I'm playing
Yes.
as the leader of my party, ODM,
Yes.
and our coalition. I want them to be able to play their role rightly as a responsible opposition in the country to keep the government today on check. I would like us to. I would also like to see a more conducive environment developed within our own country,
Yes.
where there's a lot of tolerance,
Yes.
both ethnically, racially, gender-wise, and so on,
Yeah.
so that our society can develop.
Yeah. And also restructuring or doing something about, because for example, IEBC has come out saying they did not do I mean, there were very many things that happened during the last general elections, and they are challenges. IEBC is one area that probably needs to be looked at so that everything is done well, and more so for the diaspora to be able to vote. And I know you have spoken about these things, but maybe your take as we wind up.
You see, my view is that a time has come for people to take responsibilities.
Take responsibility.
I don't know what Mr. Hassan would think
Yes.
if he listened to the tape there of his own CEO.
Yes.
And who can believe him? Which Kenya can go to elections organized by Mr. Hassan and his team? Straight away we can say we will not be party to it. We will not again be a party to a farce in our country. Recently, you saw in Korea
Yes.
a ship sank there,
Yes.
and killing over 200 people.
Yes.
Because it was the responsibility of the captain
Yes.
that he was irresponsible. But the minister in charge of transport
Yes.
and the Prime Minister.
Yes.
The whole Prime Minister resigned.
Resigned, yeah, I remember
Resigned.
that. Yes.
Who was not even on the ship, was not even a captain. But in order to make sure that a thing like that does not happen again,
Yes.
a whole Prime Minister resigns. Here, Mr. Hassan is still busy to convince people that is right. In my view, it is a shame. If I were him, I would have resigned yesterday. And the rest of our team.
Yes.
Because an electoral commission in a democracy,
Yes.
like the Caesar's wife, it must be beyond reproach.
Reproach, yeah.
It will not be beyond reproach if Mr. Isaac Hassan is still sitting there at the chair and his team in the next elections. The whole world will not believe it. And we ourselves will say, let them do the elections themselves. We will not until the electoral commission is properly reformed.
Yes.
There will be no elections in Kenya. They can as well nominate themselves and have their way.
Yeah.
But if they want us to meet, let us sit down seriously right now and reconstruct, restructure the electoral commission
Yes.
that Kenyans can live in.
Yes. And I think this is a conversation that should actually have started going a long time ago, because Mheshimiwa, time is running out, and I understand your concerns, and they are shared by many Kenyans, and therefore I think this is something that needs to be talked about, so that the right things are done, so that we don't have a sham come 2017.
Correct. Kenya is bigger than all of us.
Yes.
Kenya is bigger than all of us. We don't want to see a situation where tomorrow the military is moving in and saying, look, you guys have failed.
Yeah.
So we want to take over. Or you go to an election, Cameroon style.
Yes.
The opposition is boycotting, and then the ruling party is saying we have been elected and opposed. Anarchy will continue.
Yes.
Who will do business with that kind of government? A government which lacks credibility.
Yeah.
Nobody will want to touch. So the government, the country will suffer for another 20 years.
Yes.
If this is what these people want.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying 1 year has already been wasted.
Yeah.
Let us sit down now, today,
Yes.
and look at this electoral commission. Say, what is wrong? What these people, what's wrong with them themselves?
Yes.
We vetted. Secondly, let's move on and see our election laws. Where are the weaknesses?
Right.
Then we talk about the infrastructure itself, making it electronic.
Yes.
What requires to be done? We want the people to do it. We need to train it. We want the diaspora to vote. How do we do it? Who in the diaspora is eligible to vote? And how are they going to vote?
Yes.
All those are issues which need to be addressed today.
Yeah, and not to make a last-minute dash as they always do, and then say, "Oh, it's too late."
Too late, and so on.
Yes.
So we needed started yesterday.
Yes.
So my view is that the longer it takes, the more problems you're going to have in the future.
Thank you so much, Mheshimiwa, for finding time to speak to us.
Thank you. Thank you, Vijay.
Thank you.
Thank
you so much. We've been speaking to Honorable Raila Odinga, the former Prime Minister of Kenya. From Atlanta, I'm BMJ Muriithi.